Welcome to Programming Knowledge. So up until here we have covered all the fundamentals of Flutter, and we are well acquired to develop basic to intermediate level apps. Now we are going to develop a daily task manager application, and that is rather a very simple application, and that will mark the end of this series. So let's start. First of all, I'll delete all the extra things I had. Let's get this project back as it was when we first created it. So I'll remove all these things. Okay, save it. In main also I'll remove all the code. Let's code it from scratch. And I also need to remove the assets folder. And along with that I would also need to comment this out, and so I did. Okay, so now over here you can see we are getting an error, and this error generally happens because when we delete some file while the project is running. So I'll comment this out first and then restart the app. So run without debugging it is. Now let's start. I'll first create a folder that will be screens, and then in the screens we'll first have a home screen dot. Now let's first of all import material. That is the most important thing. Then we'll first start with a stateless widget, and we'll convert it to a stateful widget if needed. So here is the home screen. Okay, now it will have a root name that is like in the boiler code. So static const root name, and that is home screen. And now in my main.dart I'll import it. That is like writing the code that I have just commented, that I have just removed. So we'll always use relative referencing while importing any package. Screens and then home screen. Now over here the home will be home screen. Okay, so over here first we need to save this and then save this as well. So now over here it will be a scaffold, and then let's add a simple app bar. The app bar has a title that takes a text widget, and the text widget says task manager. Neat. Now in body, I don't think like right now we need to add any body. First we need to add the feature to create tasks, and then only we'll be able to show tasks, and showing tasks go in the home screen. So center, simply a child with a text widget that says no tasks added yet. Cool. Now let's add the root, the button clicking on which we will be able to create a task. So the best option would be to create a floating action button. That will take a floating action button widget. I'm sorry. So this will take a floating action, and then over here the child will be an icon widget, and then over here we'll use the icons enum, and then the add button, that is the plus sign. Okay, now I'll give this icon a color of white. Let's format this. Then after that we have the background color. So the color is, let's decide a theme. I am thinking we can go with yellow. You can try anything else of your choice. So this is yellow, and then this is showing yellow underline because the on pressed parameter is required. So let's add that on pressed, and for now simply print fab pressed. Let's format this hot, restart this. Cool. And it is giving us an error. Null check operator used a null value in main line 8. Well, this seems fine to me. I don't know where the error actually is. Well, that was not an error, that was just some kind of a lapse that happened in the app. Okay, so right now I'll remove the debug banner, debug show checked banner, that is false. Let's save this. Now my app bars, or let's make the entire theme blue, that will be easier because the default theme of Flutter is blue. So colors blue. Let's save this, and now if I click on this, the on pressed method is working fine. Now what we want to do here is that whenever we click on that button, it opens a new screen, and over there we add the task. Or what would be better is that instead of opening a new screen, we can open a bottom sheet. Okay, since the last video was on bottom sheets, it makes complete sense that we use bottom sheet instead of a new screen. But if you want, you can use a new screen also. That is, there is no such kind of design technique or rule that restricts from using a new screen. Okay, so I'll simply write show modal bottom sheet. Now it needs a context. The context is context, and then it has a builder. The every builder always has a build context. And for now, I'm sorry, I was coding in JavaScript last night, and for now let's simply return a container. Okay, a container of height, let's say 500, and color, let's say colors dot blue. Cool. Let's save this, and now if I click on this, I am able to see a bottom sheet. So let's not decide its height. Let's create the child, and child will of course be a column because we are gonna add things one after another. Then it has a children. The first one will be text that says add a task. Add task. Now it is looking very weird. I'll maybe reduce the background color little bit. Let's see, maybe little bit more. Okay, it looks better than what it was earlier. We'll of course be changing designs later. Okay, so let's add some style. Now I was thinking let's add a custom font. So for that I'll go to fontsgoogle.com and decide a font, and in the meantime I'll search for Google Fonts Flutter. This is a package using which we can use all the fonts that are available on Google Fonts. So either you can go in the installing section and copy and paste, or there is a shortcut. You simply click on this, and then in your pubspec.yaml you have to paste it below Cupertino icons. I paste it and I saved it. Remove this for now. So now let's fix on a font, and maybe we can go with, I think we should go with Montserrat. Okay, so let's start adding the text. All the text in this app will be in Montserrat font. Okay, so let's wait for this Flutter pub get to complete. Okay, so it is. Now I'll add the import Google Fonts. Now the first text we can see over here, the spelling is wrong as well. Task. Now in style we simply write Google Fonts dot Montserrat. So now since we don't have any configuration to add inside, we'll leave it like this, format it. Now over here also I'll add style Google Fonts dot Montserrat, and then over here I'll change the color. I want the color to be white and the size to be 20. Let's see. Now let's save this. Now after that, over here we can see the font has changed to Lato. Okay, and over here also this font is also Lato. Now we also have our text in center. We'll change that later. Okay, so the first text is add task. Now after that I believe that this add task should be over here, and a cross button over here, which when we click on this modal sheet should close. However, it will close if you click anywhere else than the modal sheet. Okay, so let's do that. I'll wrap this text inside a row. Okay, and then I'll give the main axis alignment as space between neat. Now after that I'll have an icon. The icon will be from the icons enum, and the name is icons close, that is the cross sign. Okay, so now this is done. Now I'll add a gesture detector upon it, wrap with a widget, and that is gesture detector. So now this gesture detector widget, it gives you the triggers for all the gestures that we do on a screen, that is a single tap, a double tap, a triple tap, a long tap, a double long tap, and all those things. Okay, so for now I'll use on tap. Now over here it should simply close the modal sheet, and for that we simply write navigator.pop, navigator dot off context. What's happened? dot pop. Cool. Now you might be thinking, why didn't I use an icon button over here? So that is because icon button comes with a inbuilt padding that we explicitly have to remove, and that will be actually 4 lines of code, and over here it is only 2 lines of code. So this is the better choice. Less lines of code means a better code. So now we have it here and this, but we definitely need some padding over here. So this container over here, the main container, the parent container, will have a padding, and then we should always write const before padding or margin. I have already discussed about it. You can look to the previous videos. Edge insets dot all, sorry, not 100.0 but 10.0. Let's save this. Now first I need to close this open again, and then it has a padding, a decent padding, and that is it. Now after row we can add a divider. Now let's save this, and we should be able to see our divider. And we have our divider. If you look very closely, I'll change that. So the width, or we have something like that. To see all the available parameters, you can simply click on control space, and then over here, yes, we have height. So I'll make it 1.2 just for testing. Let's see how it looks. And this has become, we'll have make it 10. Let's see. And damn, it's not changing. Okay, so that is not height. We need to change the thickness. I'm sorry. This kind of stuffs generally happen when you develop something. There are plenty of widgets and you often get confused. So there is no, this is not such that bad a thing. Okay, so now it is a bit thicker and this looks fine. I will be after subsequently upgrading the UIs and discussing it with you. For now this will do. Now I don't need a comma here since we only have one parameter inside that. So that is the basic, that is a good practice actually, that if you have a single parameter you don't give a comma. If you have any number of parameters which are more than one, you do give a comma. Okay, so this is done. Now after that I'll leave some space, sized box. Okay, and the space will be of, let's say, 20. Now after that I'll have a text field. Okay, let's see. So we have a text field over here, but it looks very weird. Okay, so let's design this. So it also takes a decoration. That decoration takes an input decoration. Now first for the border I'll use an outline input border. Okay, now this outline input border has a few things. Border radius, that is the curve around the corners. So for that we have another widget, border radius dot circular, and simply 5.0 would do. Now after that we have border side, means that over here in outline input border we give one border sides, and that is copied for all the 4 borders of a input field. So simply border side, and the borders color will be colors dot blue. Cool, let's see. So we have the border over here. Now let's add a white color in between. Okay, so that is the fill color, and the color needs to be white, and filled should be true for the fill color to show. I think it's filled, yes. true. It was going to become true. Let's save this. And after that, so it is white in between. Now let's add a hint. So the hint text takes a string or a text widget, and it takes a string. Enter task, and then again we have a hint style, and the hint style will go with Google Fonts .Montserrat. Okay, now let this red line go. Actually it in real time connects with the internet. That is what I am guessing for such kind of behavior. I am not sure about it. Let's save this anyhow. Okay, I don't know why it is acting weird. Let's give it a minute. Oh, sorry, the spelling is wrong. Google Fonts, I'm extremely sorry. The spelling was wrong and I thought it is some kind of a weird issue. So this is also not that bad a thing. Okay, so hint style, and that is simple Lato. Now I can add some task. I can write the task over here. Now we need to have a complete button. So instead of having a single complete button, I'll have two buttons. One is the reset button and the other one is the add button. That means add this task today, for today. Okay, so below this text field I'll have a row. Okay, the rows children, there are two children. That is, sorry, we don't have simple button, we have raised button. Now the child is text reset with a style of Google Fonts .Montserrat. Sorry, we need to give parentheses after that. And we have on pressed, and this on pressed for now will simply print reset pressed. Now let's format this. Now I'll have another button like this. So instead of copying, I'll click shift option and arrow key down, so then it gets copied. Save. Now over here instead of reset it will be add, and over here also it will be add. Let's save this. See, and it looks completely atrocious. So we need to fix that. Sized box, a height of 20 would do. Now let's fix this. So how do we fix this? Well, there are two methods, I'll say. First, I'll wrap this with a sized box, and the sized box will have a width that is the entire width. Media query dot of context dot size dot width, and height of, let's say for now, 200. We'll definitely reduce it to as much as it is required. Okay, so now this raised button goes inside a container. Okay, the container has a width of media query dot of context dot size dot width divided by 2, means half the screen size, and then this entire thing minus 10, that will be added for the padding. The padding will be 5 because 10 divided by 2 from for both the sides, minus 10. Okay, so this is fine. Now same I'll do for here. Wrap with a container. The container has a width of this. Cool. Now in this raised button, let's add a background color, or we simply call it color. Colors dot blue, and here it should be color is colors dot white. Now let's see what is left. Instead of sized box, we'll have a container, and then this container will have a padding from all the sides. Padding of not size, padding of const edge inserts dot symmetric horizontal, and that is 10.0. Let's see if it gives us some overflow errors or what, and yes, it does. So the size of these buttons are apparently big, and they are big by 20 pixels as I guessed. My calculation was little bit wrong. This should be 5. Okay, and now let's see. So still the error is there, but it has reduced. So better we make it 20 for both. Save, and then this is fine. Now you open the mobile on any screen. Now you open, not the mobile, you open the app on any screen size. This will look same because we are using dynamic width over here. Okay, so now I don't think this 20 needs to be there. It should be a mere 8. Okay, I don't know why it is not changing. Oh, because the height is 200, which is not at all required. I don't think we need a height at all. Let's save and see. Yes, so this looks fine. When I click on reset is pressed. When I click on add is pressed. Now I don't need this height also over here. So where we started the model sheet, this is okay. So the height was commented. That means this is the default height. Now I am gonna force some height to it. That is gonna be 300. Let's see, and 300 is also more than required. I'll make it 250. Now let's see. So this looks good. Now apparently there is a better color for the background than the color it is right now. We will discuss that later. For now, our adding a task UI is complete. Okay, so let's continue this in the next video. Thank you.